Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Girl Chat Sports with Mo and Mel. We're celebrating the end of 2022. We appreciate you, those that may be joining us. We listen. We
Yes.
know there's Thursday night football. My Huskies are on. I got my iPad here behind the camera, so I'm able to watch my guys in the Alamo Bowl. There's a lot of stuff happening in sports, but if you're tuning in with us, we appreciate you, and hopefully you'll make some time for us. And if you don't, go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel at Girl Chat Sports. You can watch it over and over again throughout the holiday season and then some.
Yeah, catch the replay for sure.
Oh man, so man.
So what a year of sports. Like, I
What
don't
a
know
year
if
of
you want to
sports. What a year
recap
of
like what we
Hugador
had.
is.
Yes, all the
I mean,
Hugadors logos of 2022, and just it keeps
the,
getting better and better because we got breaking news earlier, like yesterday, that we're going to talk about, and then it just, I don't
yes.
know, it just keeps going.
It's just this year hasn't ended, but I
No.
will say I feel like next year's gonna be great for everybody because it's the Michael Jordan year. I mean, how can you not have a good year? Not have a good year? It's 2023. This is Jordan year. It's coming to fruition. We're gonna have a goat type of year for everybody, and I wish that upon everybody. So keep the Jordan mentality.
Well, I hope so. Like, I really do. Hey, listen, I
We'll
can
see
go
how
with
it
that mantra
goes.
all day,
Right,
for sure.
right. Well, let's just get into it with the new year. Listen. Shout out to Andre. Happy birthday to Andre, our
Happy
boy
birthday, Andre.
Andre. We went out last night, had a little, had fun.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say my age all the time, but I'm shot and worn out. I had a day of work as well. So, we're just trying to take it easy for the new year, spread some cheer and love. Shout out to anyone that's tuning in, to our people. What's up, JC? Thanks for checking in. We appreciate you. We're just going to get into the very first one because I know Mo's got a lot to say about it. I want to ask some questions to Mo and to the rest of those Raider fans that are out there. But of course, we heard yesterday Derek Carr is getting benched and will no longer be. He's not even going to be practicing. So
He's not
apparently,
even going
once
to be
he
at the
heard,
game. He's not even going to be at the game.
yeah, once he heard he was getting benched, he was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to be a distraction. Let me get out of here."
Okay,
Talk
fine.
to me, Mo. Talk
I
to
mean,
me.
if
I mean,
that's
I
what he
know.
thinks. I
Yeah.
mean, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I'm saying like, talk to me because I know between Derek Carr, Josh McDaniels, this team has been kind of like a thorn again for the Raiders fans out there. There's been numerous tweets and posts about, the Derek Carr, the Josh McDaniels. So is this going to help the problem or is this really the problem?
I mean, it's a part of the problem. I won't say it's
Uh-huh.
the problem. I mean, we've had this guy for 9 seasons. He was destined for greatness until in 2016 when he broke his leg. And we thought, that was the year he was slated to be MVP for the league. And you
Uh-huh.
thought after that, he would have rose back into that position and hasn't. I mean, the man has the highest thrown interceptions this season. I think Dak Prescott just beat him tonight with 14. I think Derek Carr's thrown 13.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, and so that doesn't help. And it's the funny anomaly to this all is the fact that last season when we didn't have the team roster that we have this season, we did a lot better as compared to last season.
Well, you got the
I mean,
Darren Waller that was injured for half the
it doesn't
season.
matter.
Max Crosby did good this season.
You did, but we
But the,
had less weapons last season than we do this. We have Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs breaking records, who goes free agent.
yeah.
I don't understand where we're going with this organization now. For everyone, and I was kind of going back and forth. Everybody says defense. Defense has yes, definitely been ranked 31st in the league. It's always been a consistent problem with the Raiders that our defense is not up to par and standard, and that has a lot to do with the organization. A lot of people are blaming Josh McDaniels, which rightfully so. But I really feel like if people really look into Vic Tafur, shout out to him because he did
Mm-hmm.
write an article in The Athletic explaining what happened. Who made the decision? The decision came
Okay.
from the top. The decision came from Mark Davis. Mark Davis made this decision to cut Carr. Mark Davis has not been sold on Carr since Carr moved to Vegas. When 2019 happened in Oakland, when we lost and the fans booed in the Oakland Coliseum at Derek Carr, that was Mark Davis's cue to say something's got to change. He listened to his new GM. He listened
And
to
he's used to
Gruden.
champions
He
now.
list
Let's be
yes, and he
honest.
and he listened to a lot of other people to make that call on whether or not to cut him or not. He
Okay.
also posed that position to Josh McDaniels, according to the article from Vic Tafur. Josh said, no, let's rock with it and see what he does. At this point, Mark Davis has stepped in and made the decision that no, he needs to be benched. Now, this is a maneuver for the Raiders to not have to spend all that cap space if he gets injured. If he got injured in these last 2 games playing.
And there's this bottom one that I put in there. It's probably too small to read.
Yes. What we have to gain as far as keeping him. I mean, as far as losing him. I mean, we get a lot of cap space. We can get draft picks up to 16. We're sitting at 14. We probably could pick up 2 and some possibles. So this was a business maneuver for sure for him not to play out the last 2 games. A lot of people are upset at the fact of how they did it because they should have let him play out his season. Well, what if he gets hurt? We're held with a $33 million bag. And then what are you guys going to say? He has a no trade clause, but he does have an escape clause, and that's the escape clause. As long as you're not injured, we can bench you and do whatever we need with you. Now the conversation
is this going to fix the problem? Is this going to fix the problem?
That's a great question. I mean, it's not going to fix the problem if we lose Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams if they decide.
Right, because Devontae mentions, like, I came here because of him.
Right, exactly.
So with him gone,
but he has
what happens with
Devontae? He's getting paid with us too. So
uh-huh.
He has a trade clause if we decide to allow him to be traded. I mean, if it gets to that point where it gets ugly and he wants to be traded, but it's all going to depend on which quarterback we get. There's a lot of young talent coming up in the up-and-coming draft, so we get options. We do get, because of our record, we might be able to get a couple first rounders, and in that first round, we might be.
And I think that thing said you had 12 picks probably that could turn into more.
Yeah, and could turn into more, exactly. So,
that's a lot.
Listen, I have to say, Derek Carr, for who he is, he will always be a Raider to me. He will always be a Raider. He has fought, he has persevered through some of the worst times. And not to mention playing with a terrible defensive line ever since he got here in the organization. And has always been a very kind and nice man. But what we need is a dog. And what we need is somebody that's going to be able to be that dog that can make some play action happen. And when you have people like a Devontae Adams, who on the Christmas Eve game was not even open, but Josh Jacobs was, and you throw the ball with Devontae Adams running behind. I mean, it's just amateur play. And that's where I get like, what are we doing? You know, and to go into real time and watch him throw interception after interception. Not to mention, people are not paying $300 and $400 and $500 in these.
So, do you feel that also Mark? Do you think Mark sold on Josh McDaniels? Do you think this is going to be anything going to happen to him the first year?
I don't know if he's sold on him as much as let's just see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of rabbit you can pull out your hat for next season.
Yes. I think Rich Bisaccia definitely would have been a better option. We saw what Rich Bisaccia did in the last end of our season last season. And I also think what Mark was going for was a big name, a name that was recognizable. Me personally, if I were him, I probably would have held out for Sean Payton coming out of retirement. But Sean Payton don't want this. This is a mess.
Or the Kansas City offensive coach. He's still not.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy, somebody. We always were saying, who is he going to get? You know, and I think he missed opportunities with going after some of these stellar quarterbacks to kind of motivate him. You got to understand, Derek Carr had no threat on his bench either with Jarrett Stidham sitting there. When he had Marcus Mariota on his bench, that was a threat. So he played up, and they saw that. Yeah. And Dick Tafer mentioned that in the article. Derek Carr will only play up or be a beast
which is not a good place to be. It's not a good thing to do.
Absolutely right. Mm-mm. It is not. And then the man got up there crying and all that stuff.
I mean, what did you guys mention? Like, you could catch him at Sunday service somewhere?
You can catch him at Sunday service. He's definitely at the Sunday services, for all you car stands out there. You can catch him at the Sunday service. We've always said the guy, and even Vic Tafer mentioned it in the article, that the man wants to be a pastor and play on the golf course. So whatever his destiny leads him to, I wish him all the best. He has said in the past he will never pay for any other team but the Raiders. There are options of him being looked at by other teams. I'm sure he can land somewhere if he still wants to play.
Would he take a backup role for the Raiders?
Oh, my God. I probably not. If he can't even sit on the bench and face the audience of the game on his farewell tour, if you want to call it, and not be even in the building, then he definitely can't take a backup position. I think that was just, him being.
Well, I think it was also for him. He didn't want to cause more commotion in the locker room for these last 2 weeks. Everybody's cameras are on every player trying to get the Derek Carr story. Like, hey, we got 2 more weeks left.
Yeah, and they already asked everybody. He didn't want to quote unquote be a distraction, but I feel like he could have been on the sideline still.
Yeah.
But it is what
And
it
then
is, and
back
it's
to the memes, of course.
yeah,
I thought it was hilarious because the dude wears my car with one. Of course, we all know the Wolverine picture looking at. And then the guy with the sign, of course, Devontae Adams is staying. And then we've got scapegoat number 4 on the back of the
yeah.
jersey.
I mean, definitely he is part of the problem. But we've had 9 seasons with this guy, and we don't make a
Yeah,
playoff contention until last season.
that was
It's
it.
a little ridiculous. He's an average
And
at
granted,
best
there's been a
quarterback.
lot of stuff that's happened within the Raiders organization in the last like year or two, just from coaching to stat,
Lawsuits,
a lot
all of
of
that.
stuff.
Hmm.
So hopefully 2023, Jordan Year can clear out some of that negative energy and perhaps move forward.
We may have to just build from scratch and start off. I mean, I hate this rebuilding thing because that's going to be the excuse of everything coming forward. We need to rebuild. We need to rebuild. They need to find
I
some
know.
defensive linemen that can actually handle us and not be have us sitting at 31st place in defense as a league. Like we definitely
And
need the
that's
defensive
pretty
core.
sad because especially for having Max Crosby on your team and you guys
And
are sitting
Chandler
that far
Jones,
low, and
just
Chandler
sitting there
Jones.
far low, that's
But
just not
Chandler
good.
Jones didn't really have a season until these last few games.
Yeah, so he's coming into his own. So I'm not going to count him
Yeah.
out now because as soon as we get into the new year, I think now he's finally found a place. But JJ said it in his post game interview of the Christmas Eve game. He did not
Mhm.
cite Josh McDaniels being a problem. He said the problem has been for 4 years. Well, Josh McDaniels wasn't there for 4 years. So who's the problem?
Who is the
It could be
problem?
Mark. It could be Carr. It could be anything. And Carr's check engine light has been on. And I've been saying this time and time again. And it won't turn off. We don't know what's going on. You know
He
what I
ain't got the
mean?
oil change, the transmission
Yeah, none
fluid,
of that.
all
None of
that,
that. None of that. So, God.
Spark plugs need to get fixed.
Raider
We don't
Nation
know.
just needs to rally around this team and not lose hope. We had a guy for 9 years. It's the longest we've had quarterbacks. And somebody asked me, "Well, did you ever own a Carr jersey?" I'm like, "No. Why would I?" I said I'd own a Jim Plunkett one before I'd own a Carr one. Jim Plunkett got a Super Bowl rings. Why would I get a Carr when we haven't even been in the playoffs with him? He would be the
Right.
last jersey I would ever buy, and I didn't get it. I have other ones. I wouldn't get his.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm only for the
So we're
winners.
I hear you. I hear you. So the news of Carr comes at a interesting time because as you are aware, and everybody in Vegas and outside of Vegas knows that New Year's Eve is this weekend. Vegas is one of the biggest places to come for New
Right,
Year's Eve. And on top of that, you got the Battle of the Bay
right,
here at
right.
Allegiant Stadium,
And they're still
which
coming. And they're still
and
coming.
and they're still coming.
Shout out to my girl Remy. Her flight got canceled with Southwest. They were able to get a voucher. She's able
Oh
to make it
man,
here.
the whole
Touchdown today.
airlines, boy, let me
She's
tell you.
ready. And people are coming on the
Woo!
road from Portland. People are coming all over. The Bay Area traffic should be ridiculous with people coming in, being either Oakland Raider fans or San Francisco 49er
Right.
fans.
And then news broke out that we've got entertainment for the
Right.
halftime of the show.
Ice
Ice
Cube and Too Short.
Cube, Too Short. I wouldn't be surprised if E40 shows up. I mean, he
I
is the
mean,
Niner
E40 probably
fan.
will, but he can't perform if he's wearing 49er stuff in our stadium. He can be there as a spectator or fan and be all right there in his seats. That's fine. But you're in the Raiders' house, so you're not
I hear you.
performing,
I
sir.
wonder if Marshawn's going to be in town because he's Big Bay area too,
Oh,
and
I'm
of course a
sure.
former Raider, so
Yeah,
that would be
this
interesting.
this game is going to be the culmination. I
Woo.
just say everybody,
And
keep your
those
head on a
tickets are
swivel.
still going for $400 something in the nosebleeds.
Yeah, I looked today. Actually, 400 seats have gone to 300, depending on what section you are in. And I always say for everybody, wait till day of, 2 hours before the
Yeah.
game. And some car stands are protesting not going to this game. So the tickets are going on sale.
Oh,
Some people are
car
dumping their tickets.
stands.
Yeah, some people are dumping their tickets because they wanted to see Carr.
Okay.
And I get it if that's what you want to do. So tickets are out there. It's definitely third party, but you never
It
know
should
by the day of what the
definitely
price
be
is going to
interesting
be.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is sad
Okay.
for Raider Nation. It is a sad day. This is a bittersweet moment to see that your number 4 is not going to be on the field.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, it's not entirely his fault. But
No.
he has some problematic
But he hasn't.
moves.
He definitely hasn't played up to what he could be
Yeah, to the
playing.
potential of what he could be. And
After
it's
seeing
just a,
last season him doing well, I think this season was kind of like, oh, what happened? Like,
yeah,
what are we
and
doing?
remember I said on the show at the beginning of the season, we're going in here with no excuses for Derek Carr. He's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
everything in
This
place
is it.
offensively to what he needs, you know,
And
even
there's
with no
been
Waller.
injuries, but still, I mean, you still got Devontae Adams out here. You still got,
Right,
Josh Jacobs running. I mean,
right.
what's the
I mean,
problem? Where are we at?
and I saw a lot of the play calling was, if you look at that Vic Tafur article, and I need people to Google it because I tried to send people it, they made you want to pay. But if you Google
Oh,
the Athletic with Vic Tafur talking about Derek Carr, they even talked about the play calling, how Derek Carr was instrumental in some of that play calling, and he and Josh McDaniels were bumping heads on the play calling. So now I'm wondering which play calling was going
is
to
it the
what
scapegoat?
direction. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Very
So
interesting.
we're going to get back to football, talking a little bit when we get towards the NFL. We want to get through some more hot topics. Of course, most everybody heard today the passing of Pele.
Yeah,
I mean,
Pele.
here's the deal. We know it after a certain age, death just seems to come. He was 82. I mean, this is the Brazilian king of football. He's won like 3 World Cups. He
The
was
only one to do it.
playing in like the 50s in the
Mm-hmm.
World Cups. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just incredible. He'd kind of been homebound for the last couple of years, it sounded like,
He
but
was battling colon
um
cancer. He got
yeah. So
diagnosed
please
early
get
on. So
checked,
yeah,
y'all.
and I need to get
45
checked.
years is
Yep.
the age bracket now, and
Yep.
even sooner if it has a history in your family. So make sure you do your health checks. It's self-care, you guys. Take care of yourselves. But yes, shout out to Pele, his family, all the fans out there that were just showering him with his flowers and after the hearing of his passing. So that's too bad.
And he's the only
I
footballer to win 3 World Cups, just so you guys know. He's the only one to
Wow,
do it. So he's the one that holds the
amazing.
record for 3 World Cups. So it'd be nice to see what the legacy looks like for him.
Right. Now we all talked about the temperatures that were going to happen during week 16. I know your game had some crazy temperatures and our game in Kansas City had crazy temperatures, but I don't think anything can surpass Buffalo because even though their game wasn't there, they finally got back to Buffalo after their game and they came back to about 6 feet of snow. And here's just a few little clips of what that looked like.
Yeah, I told them they could pull out. Yeah, damn. Yo, this is crazy, bro. Yo. Man, look,
First of all, they don't have staff apparently that clean off cars in the wintertime, but you come back and now we're dealing with that. And let's not even not forget to mention, I think the death toll has been up to like surpass 50 people that have passed in
Yeah.
Buffalo due to those weather, getting stuck in their cars, running out of gas, not being able to use their car, vehicles and emergency vehicles not being able to get to them in
People walking out their
time.
front door, getting caught in a blizzard and dying. They just reported a woman who literally was a few feet from her front door getting ready to go to work and got caught
Unbelievable.
up and died. So it's crazy, you know, it really is. And to give you a description for those that are listening to our pod, the Buffalo
Mhm.
Bills are pulling away with ice glaciers on top of their
With like
trucks.
4 feet of, of
If that, it
snow
looked
and
like a
glacier on
glacier like on
top.
top of their trucks as they're pulling off,
Yes.
you know, and they're starting their car with their self-starting
They're
engine
trying to
and they're trying to
dig
heat
with
it.
shovels to
Yeah.
even access it because their cars were covered, trucks were covered. Like there was no accessing anything.
Shout out to the
I
man on
mean,
social media who had the blowtorch that was clearing paths with his driveway.
listen, think outside the box. He had it. He
Right.
knew what was going on. He knew what
Right.
was going on.
So I have to ask though, is this
Yeah.
indicative to what the future holds for winter for global warming? Is this what we're going to see
Hello.
a trend
They
of?
said this was the worst storm that they've seen in decades. Like it's a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, it literally covered everybody except for Nevada, California, and even Oregon, I think, got it too.
Oregon,
So
yeah.
it was literally Arizona, Nevada, and California that didn't get it. Everybody else, I mean, Atlanta, Florida, that usually is like 60 or 70, they were at 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Geckos are falling. I heard in Houston, like 1,500 bats had died and fallen out the air because they have a big bat population
Right,
down there.
right.
And bats were dying. I mean, just insane things. Listen, I mean, beyond Southwest and their cancellations, which did like a whole ripple effect into other airlines and overbookings. Now there's people, the seats that were open on certain flights, those are being resold for like $900, $1,000 just to get into Vegas for New Year's. It's
Yeah. Like I said,
insane.
shout out to my girl, Remy. She got on a flight that was supposed to be a crew flight only and had 20 passengers on it only.
But my
Back in
question
here.
is, how did all this luggage get places but passengers didn't? So they were just flying planes with luggage but no passengers?
They
Like,
do
I
that.
don't
They do that. They
understand.
do that. They do
Throw some
the
passengers
planes.
on it. How about
They
that?
do.
I
They
mean,
do that with the plane. But then shout out, I saw Harry Reid Airport with all the bags. I mean, this year has been a cluster
listen,
F of travel anyway.
the
Within
calendar
itself.
for everything this year has just been insane.
It
It's been
has. And
intense.
to
Yeah.
end the year of 2022, I mean, it's almost like indicative to what travel has been. This is just a culmination of wrap up of 2022 that you're going to fall into this situation.
People were staying for Christmas in the airports. People, they couldn't even
So
go to a
sad.
hotel because hotels were booked. They couldn't even get a rental car because rental cars were gone. They're literally stuck in an airport.
Hey, listen,
for
if this is
days.
the future of travel, I say you guys go international. The international carriers
Ugh.
are not canceling
I'm
flights.
just happy I didn't
You might have
travel
to get
for
out of here.
holidays this year. It's
You might
just-
have to get out of here.
it's
Just get out of the
intense.
country
It's
because
intense.
domestically, you're not going to plan the family trips to Cancun, plan the family holiday
Right.
weekends in
Right.
Spain, do something different, Caribbean, whatever, that can get you out of here and get you
Yes.
back home. Because domestically, going to see aunts and uncles in New Orleans, it ain't going to work.
It ain't gonna be it.
Sadly, it's not here.
So I don't know if you saw this, and I don't have a picture of it, but apparently Terrell Owens is trying to make a comeback at age
Yes,
49.
I did see something about that.
And apparently his agent has reached out to the Cowboys and they've been in talks with Jerry, of course, over there. And there's been other teams they've contacted trying to get a scheduled workout. He said he's willing to play any position, any part. He wants to just help a team out. He's 49. Granted, I know he can still run. I know he's still in great shape. We saw him in I think it was the fan controlled football league last year. He still has moves, but at what point do you just say, like, is this just like a challenge to yourself? Say, hey, I can get back. Or is it more like I am just
Did
this
he
bored
watch
now?
The Best Man final chapter and got inspired by Lance Stevenson's character to get back out there and play? Like, I don't understand where this is coming from.
Hey, I haven't watched the series yet. I'm trying to binge it
Watch
for like
it
a
and
New Year's
find
thing.
out.
So yes,
Watch it and
yes.
find out. But it
Don't be a
does not
spoiler.
track. So maybe he got inspired by that character, Morris Chestnut's character in the series to do so. I mean, you're gonna see what happens. But
And
it's
of course, if
crazy.
anybody gets him, you know it's going to be Jerry and the Cowboys that pick him up, just because I feel like that's just the tie he has with the Cowboys. But I don't want to see it.
I
don't
think
think
people need
wanna
to
see
really
this.
do
I
a
don't know.
self-reflection of their mentals and their physicals and be real about their body. Because people
Right.
don't understand these football players, especially defensive men and O-linesmen, every hit, every jar is like being in a car accident every day, every week. Every week you're getting in a car accident where your adrenaline hits you and then the pain sets in. Like you're in a car accident.
And it's
hit
not
is
like you
that.
can change how your
Come on.
49-year-old bones are able to work. Like, granted, yeah, you're still physically in great shape, but what happened with the
I mean, if he's
with
full
contact?
Wolverine with skeletal metal, if
Oh
he's full
man,
Wolverine and he can regenerate himself and he's the
I
X-Men,
don't know.
then I give him a pass.
I
But
don't
he
know.
is not the X-Men. And so I don't understand how people don't
Yeah.
understand how their body can take all this trauma from hit after hit after hit and not have a thing of I don't know.
Well, we'll see how that story unfolds. Shout out to Miss Ball and D. She mentioned that the Lady Rebels are currently leading Wyoming right now at halftime.
Yes,
Shout
Lady
out to the
Rebels, let's
both
go.
the Lady Rebels and the Running
And the
Rebels have been
Rebels.
still doing well. Season's kicking off. We're now working. And then, hey, Cassandra, Miss Sportsnista.
Hey,
Happy
Miss
New Year to both you
Sportsnista.
ladies. We love our sportswomen. So thank you for stopping by and saying hello. One more hot topic that's really hot for me. I don't know how much you had this, but my brother had this, and we flipped the catalog nonstop. I feel like nobody ever really ordered from Eastbay, but you always
did.
went through the Eastbay. I saw some things, because this is back
You
when
could
you could
get
still just go
Jordans
to,
off of Eastbay.
you could just go
before
to
the sneaker
Foot Locker.
craze.
This is when you could still just go to Foot Locker and stuff though and buy a pair. It wasn't like,
you could still, when the sneakerhead culture didn't get as immensely overrated and popular as it is now, you could go on Eastbay and get you some J's.
Oh yeah, they had J's all on the front page. They had like 12 different. They have every color.
But I'm saying
way
even in the late
possible.
2000s. I'm saying 2013, 2014, and 2015.
Gotcha.
When I was into my sneaker thing, I was literally going on Eastbay and could cop, and they were restock J's.
Okay.
That
so
was
Eastbay is closing its doors at the end of this year.
Yeah, it's sad. I
Sad,
used to love looking
sad
through the
day.
catalogs. I sent it to
Man,
my girl
listen, me
Caroline.
too. Me
We
too.
were all about it, but you used to be able to
Shout
get
out
those
to
things.
Heather. Thank you for tuning in as well,
Hey,
Heather.
Heather.
Congratulations to your Chargers and getting that
Yeah,
playoff spot.
yeah,
Good job.
deserve it.
Very much, very much. We're gonna move into some Jugadores Locos. There was a
Before
couple.
that,
There's
though, we didn't talk about
oh no,
JJ Watt
please.
retiring. We have to
Well, I
talk
have
about
that,
this.
yeah, but
Oh, you
yeah,
have it? Oh, okay.
yeah.
Because I
He
think
was
that
in our
was more of a
NFL
hot
section.
topic
No,
than
but let's
anything.
talk about it. Well, I
So,
mean, I guess it's more just surprising. I was surprised by it. I didn't feel like that was coming. I watched all of the in-season Hard Knocks with the Arizona Cardinals. I never felt that there was some kind of like, yeah, this could be it, or I'd rather be, golfing or playing with my dog or fishing or something like that. I didn't get that sense. So it was shocking to me that he made that decision.
well, it wasn't shocking to me because the man had his heart shocked not once but twice to get him back into life. So I
Yeah.
think it's more of a health thing. And then after having this
And
baby,
his baby,
the
yeah.
writing is on the wall. I think a lot of athletes have to be smart about foretelling their future. I lead into this
But
to say
some
about Tua.
aren't. And
Well,
that's
I say
why,
about Tua,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
we'll talk about it if you want, but I'm just saying, like, this man saw the signs when his heart stopped and it got shocked. That's a wake-up call. And
Most
like I said,
definitely.
people's bodies are put through a trauma like being in a car accident week after week after week after week. And what's to say this man's next hit would not cost him his life, especially
And
with
you
his
never know.
baby.
And the way that he plays hard 24/7, 3. Like he doesn't give up. He is
Right.
always on 100.
Right.
They
But your
mentioned that in
cardio
the
is
last
everything.
season about him and Buda Baker. Both them are they're never half-assing nothing. They are always on 110 going hard. And so shout out to JJ Watt because I think it's great. He had posted a picture of his baby saying it was the baby's first game and his last home game. So it was kind of special for him. But yeah, that was definitely
And I'm sure Texas fans would have loved for him to come back to Texas
sure.
and at least retire. But I feel like you could still retire in a man's jersey if you wanted to, or have him come. But
And plus, I mean, the Cardinals season,
it's a wash.
has
Like,
taken
listen,
a
why come out
whole.
there and do that? And you got the baby first time, baby came to his
Yeah,
game,
especially
last
knowing
time
that
in
your
the
life
home
was.
game.
Yeah, that's a whole lot. It's a
Yeah,
whole
like the
lot.
man's heart, like your cardio is everything, and your heart is everything, and no one's giving out heart transplants left and right like this. Some don't take, some have defibrillators. Some heart is everything, and if that is what happened, he's got his brothers TJ and another brother out there playing.
Right.
I mean, still in the love of the game, but you gotta health is first.
Heather said JJ's son was born a toddler. Just huge.
He is a cute baby. Yeah, did you see how he was holding him? He was holding him like he was like ready to like either run play of a pass or something. It was like a little football. Like, yeah.
And Cassandra also mentioned that like, how you talked about that, he had a life-threatening event.
He did.
In that it wasn't just some like hospital visit or doctor visit. He literally almost lost his life. So
yeah,
good for him for actually being able to take and acknowledge what's happening in real life, in his life, and being able to take that decision, because some guys wouldn't, whether they have family or not.
No, they're in love with the game so much. It's just, overpowers everything.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
I know. All right, some Jugadores. I know we've seen this happen before.
Mm-hmm.
Gervonta Davis, Tank, arrested in Florida. Guys, it is the water in Florida. I don't know what it is, but I swear like 90 or like 85% of our Jugadores get in trouble within the Florida state limits.
They say people from Florida or the Bronx are the most craziest people.
I mean,
so maybe it is. Maybe it's a transfer of energy of seeing local.
So we think it's believed to be his child's mother. She had called 911 saying that he damaged her car. He attacked her while the child was present, that he was going to kill her. He had this whole long blurb on social media because he feels that the situation had changed, that there was another person also involved in the area that had seen the situation, that he would never put hands on his child or her, blah, blah, blah. But we saw him put hands on, I don't know if it was the same child's mother.
We've seen him put hands on a woman. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
We've seen him put hands on a woman. I did not have time to read this. I sent this to you, but I did not have time to read the excuses or the narrative and all.
Oh yeah, it's a whole lot.
Because it's too much, It'll
get played out in court. But my thing is, just like we've seen in previous, unfortunately, even with that head coach that had the DV against his wife, she's already recanted her story. So ladies, if there is something happening, stick with the story. Like, stick with what's going on. Don't
or be real about the story. Make sure it is the truth, because it's damaging to other women.
We know it can go both ways,
and it's hindrance of women that wanting to come forward because you're not believed.
Very much so.
And it shouldn't be a monolith of that either. It should be case by case basis. But men don't do that. They track everything as far as one, and then it's all fake. No. go by each individual's own experience. Come on.
Yeah.
Gotta
So,
be better at that.
you know, screw me once, shame on me. Screw me twice. Like, I mean, you've got a history here, buddy. So, but anyway, we'll see how that goes in court. Another interesting one. So, this is Jets wide receiver coach Miles Austin.
Yeah.
Miles was suspended for a year for violating the NFL's gambling policy, which I did not know. Says that you cannot gamble on any sport, not just the NFL, but any sport. Apparently, per his attorney, he had gambled like online slots as well as other sports. They confirmed that he did not bet on NFL or college football, but he did bet on other sports, which is a violation of the policy, and he'll have to serve out his suspension before he can figure out where he'll be working after that. So
I don't understand why people don't have other people bet for them. Like, I don't understand. You're that
common
much of a
sense.
gambler that you really had to go on your app and put your name
Like your
and your
brother,
email and
your
all of that, your
homeboy,
driver's
your number
license.
one, like
You
give him a
don't have
cut off the
anybody.
winnings. I mean, this is your job that you're getting paid over, multiple six figures for.
That
And
gambling is
you're,
addiction, man. Listen, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I
It's
don't know.
addiction. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because you really have to be
Well, go
there
up
to
in the
do that.
casino and just play some slots. Like, I mean, I don't know.
That wasn't his
I don't
bag.
know.
I mean, it's just like, alcohol addiction. You're addicted to a certain brand.
I get you just don't
And
think about
gambling
it.
addiction,
You
you're
just don't think
addicted
about
to
it.
betting on the ponies. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. He knew his policy. He knew what the rules
We would
were.
all
He
like to
violated. This is
know.
what happens. I mean, he's just being stupid. So, yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
man. I'm sorry. My Huskies, it was 10-3, getting close
give
to
us something.
half. We're trying to get this Alamo Bowl victory and keep pushing towards 2023 with a great team. Anyway, so it is bowl games. Also, of course, we got Saturday. We got the semifinals for the college football championship. I think the games are like at 1 and 5. You got TCU at Michigan, Ohio State at Georgia for the Peach Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl. Championships on the 9th at 4:30 p.m. So until then, there's like, a plethora of like a zillion college bowl games that you don't even know who's in it because I swear, like 10 new ones come up every year and we don't know where they're from. But hey, whatever it is. Not a whole lot going on in Las Vegas sports, of course, beyond the Battle of the Bay this weekend. Shout out to Miss Bondi again because the Running Rebels are playing. And our Vegas Golden Knights, even though they've lost their last two and they've lost 2 out of the last 3 this past week, they do play tomorrow. The game's at noon for all those here in town, no school, whatever, you're off. Games at noon tomorrow against Nashville, I believe. But they are still in first place. Like, we're 4 games over the Kings, who we did lose to, but we're still in first place of the Pacific Division. So just keep on rocking.
And tickets should be cheap for that, too, I feel.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's get into some NFL. Of course, I had to bring in Benchwarmer Brand to give us the Week 16 recap, which is always a good one.
Hey man, I was at a Super Smash Bros. Tournament in Japan this weekend, so I didn't see the games. Can you tell me what happened? That's kind of cool, right? Who's your main? Yoshi. You f***ing weirdo. Whatever, can you just tell me about the games? Yeah, fine. Well, Trevor Lawrence officially ended Zach Wilson's career. Officially? Pretty much. The Patriots were in a tight one, but lost because Ramondre Stevenson inexplicably turned the ball over at the very end of the game. Wasn't that last week? Happened this week too. The Lions had all the momentum in the world heading into a matchup with the Panthers. And got blown out while 2 Panthers running backs had career high rushing days. Those are the Lions I remember. Texans beat the Titans. The Titans should consider a partnership with Crumble Cookies considering how fast they're, crumbling. The Cowboys beat the Jalen Hurts-less Eagles. Doesn't count. The Commanders benched Taylor Heineke for Carson Wentz. What's the point of that? Don't know. The Raiders lost and now they're going to bench Derek Carr for Jarrett Stidham. What's the point of that? Don't know. The Colts got smacked by the Chargers because they started Nick Foles. What's the point of that? Don't know. And the Baker Mayfield Rams blew out the Broncos 51-14 and then the Broncos fired their head coach. Broncos country? About time. All right, anything normal happen this week? Well, the Vikings beat the Giants on a last-second field goal. Will the Vikings ever win a game by multiple possessions? Stay tuned next week on Dragon Fraud Z. Oh, and seems like Devontae Adams is regretting going to the Raiders. Oh yeah, what was the point of that? Don't know.
So, of course, we know Denver fired their head coach, Nathaniel Hackett, and
we knew that was
after. First of all, let me just tell you, I could be in my fantasy football championship had it not been for me playing Denver's defense over Arizona. I thought Arizona versus the Buccaneers, it might struggle a little bit because they've been struggling. You had Denver.
And the third in defense.
Denver got walked on by the Rams, and the defense gave me -5 points. Had I not just swapped out for Arizona, I'd be a much happy camper. But because of that, of course, I'm not, and so I'm going to show some more Russell memes because
Just give me the jersey already.
I mean, it's just like, come
Just give me the
on.
jersey.
Apparently, also, Jerry Jeudy had to come to Russell's defense because there was some rumors that Russell has his own office inside the facilities there, and he does because apparently, per Jerry Jeudy, he's got an office because he's committed his life to the game. I don't know. I think.
Well, he is committed. He's just not effectively performing.
He's not been committed since Sierra. They do too many other things throughout the season. I don't feel like he's as committed as he once was.
I mean, remember the guy was on the plane doing drills and workouts and burpees while everybody was asleep, Mel. How can you say this man is not committed? And I want his jersey, so you can go ahead and sell me that.
You're not going to have that jersey ever, 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 ever.
You ain't a real stand.
Yes,
and
Sportsnista Cassandra, the -5 killed me because had not been -5, and I would have got the 15 points from Arizona, I would have beat the opponent I had, and I would be in a championship. But
I've been in the championship round for one fantasy, and I got dropped to 3rd because Jonathan Taylor's on out. None of Pat Mahomes, because of the Seattle's defense, wants to mess with him. You mess with my points, knowing you guys were going to win this game. You should have let him just keep throwing Hail Mary so I could get points.
I mean,
so
the thing is,
3rd consolation round to play when I was number.
I'm in the 3rd consolation round too.
Well, it's the 3rd place round. It ain't even a consolation.
But that's still part money. I mean, you still get some money there, right?
No, I don't get no money though. You have to be number 1. You have to win, and I could have taken this person out. So now I'm in the 3rd place thing against that judge I was telling you about. I am slated to beat him, hopefully. But as we get into these later weeks, these players are being very suspect. And not for nothing, we got Kansas City on January 8th, and I honestly don't think Pat Mahomes and those guys are going to play that week.
I don't think so, but will that matter for your...
No, I probably won't. But even in Girl Chat, I'm in the 3rd place one too. So, I mean, the consolation one.
Oh, Girl Chat, I lost that. Nobody's business.
And here's the thing for fantasy, Yahoo. I'm sending a message to you. All the people that are below that cannot play in any of these consolation games or championship rounds, can you drop their players so we can scoop them up and play in them with us still playing? Can their players just go and get dropped back out? Into
what you need, Mo? What do you need me to send you? What you need me to send you,
Honey,
Mo?
I need everybody. Like, I feel like if you're not going to be able to play in any of these rounds, that you drop the players and let us go back in and draft them up or pick them up off of waiver wire.
Okay.
Something.
Okay.
Yahoo
well, I'm gonna see what I can do. If I can drop something for you, I'll help you out. That's I made you get in the league. I made you play, so I feel like it's the least I could do for you for suffering so much.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot happening in football. We know that Derrick Henry is going to be out for the game. He was out for the game tonight. Tony Pollard was out for the game tonight. Like Benchwarmer Ben said, the Commanders benched Heineke for Wentz as they're trying to get into a playoff spot. Ryan Tannehill's on IR. Tua got concussed again. He's not playing this Sunday.
And that's a good conversation for him, too, because this is the, 3rd concussion we've gone through?
And then technically it's like the 4th because he had it twice, the one game, and then again this last Sunday.
So what are we thinking? Is this over for him?
At least stop. Don't play the rest of the season. At least that.
Hey, listen, Brian Flores told us. He warned us. He said he did not see Tua as that quarterback. Brian Flores was right. And what do? They fired Brian Flores. Brian Flores was probably going to be the man to save this man's life. Had he
hopefully family can talk some sense. I mean, if nothing else, you're done for the season. But you really need to figure out, get tested, see a neurologist, do all the good, doctor's appointments that you can get to really work on, is this going to be an issue for you?
Because if it is, he needs to walk away. And he needs to probably work for the team and be an OC or something. I don't know. Work on the line. Do something.
I mean, it seems like him and head coach have a great relationship, so maybe he could get some kind of assistant coaching job.
Yeah, but these injuries and these concussions is just a real thing with him. And who knows, like you said, he needs to get checked out, get scans. You don't know what tumors could form. You know what the CTE's looking like. Like, we've been in talks of what is the future hold for Tua. Should he walk away or should he keep plugging away?
Maybe JJ can give him some some helpful.
JJ is a story for everyone, and people still don't listen. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's
Listen,
like the love of the game. It's hard to walk away from something
it's a
like that.
love
And
of
I
the
get it.
game. I mean, yeah.
I get it.
I mean, I don't
Because
get it because I didn't spend my whole life playing one thing my entire life to where it became my passion, my career, my everything. But I can imagine, it's a lot.
lottery ticket.
Speaking of my team, though, so we lost the Chiefs, of course. I didn't feel like that was going to happen, but I wanted it to. But luckily, the Lions, the Commanders, the Giants also all lost. So we still have a slim hope of making a playoff spot in the NFC. It still is ridiculous to me that Tampa Bay is number one in the NFC South at 6 or 7-8, and is still
7-8.
number one
Crazy.
in their and going straight to the playoffs. But whatever. So I need everybody out there to put their good vibes in, and let's make sure that the Lions, the Commanders, the Giants continue to lose, and that hopefully we can get these last two games. We have the Jets this weekend, and then we have, I believe it's the Rams for the 8th. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, listen.
It would be nice if we
They
could
got
just make
Baker
it to a
Mayfield on
round,
this,
make it into make it into the first round, just like the Dallas Cowboys do, and lose it just because. But at least we made it.
But if you don't make it, what's the future hope for Geno? You guys got all these draft picks coming. You got a lot.
I think he definitely can get signed. I don't know if there's been talk that he could make an $80 million contract or $30 million a year, and it's just like maybe he could. I don't know where else Geno would go. Maybe he goes to the Raiders or in Arizona. I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's so many things. I know that we definitely need to get a quarterback out of the draft and have somebody behind him if he decides. I wouldn't mind him playing for next year, being able to be the veteran for someone coming up. I don't know why we would keep, our other quarterbacks because they haven't done anything this season, obviously. It's tough.
So you think the Raiders?
Well, I mean, Drew Lock, and then we got the other guys. I don't know. I don't.
The Raiders we would have value with Geno Smith.
I'm not saying you'd have value. I'm just saying I don't. But where else are we putting Geno at?
Well, you can't come to us. We need a stellar. We need listen. We need.
You want a 5, but see, that means that you can't be going to the draft. Then, like, you want a draft pick. You're not going to get the 5-star quarterback starting next season out the draft. Like, you're gonna have. Who are you going to get? Like a Tom Brady coming to you?
Well, that's the rumor. They're talking about that. They're talking about that. They're talking about Bleacher Report.
But you saw what Tom was still doing in Tampa, and Tampa has an O-line, and what is
Tom
he
Brady
doing
is going through strong personal issues of a divorce. And
I think the divorce is over.
Listen, that still plays with your psyche, okay? The man's been struggling going through a divorce. Now, this is the thing. Is Tom Brady going to play next season is the question. And if he does play next season.
And does he want to leave Florida to come to Vegas?
He originally was supposed to come to Vegas. He originally
would Gronk come back? Would Gronk come back to live in Vegas and party in the off season?
He can make money in Vegas. Rock would be a brand for some of these club promoters in Vegas. So, I mean, Tom Brady is very old. This is the old Tom Brady when you get it. I feel like it'd be a waste of money to get him. We should have gotten him 3 seasons back.
Yes, most definitely.
Was on the shopping market and John Gruden put the kibosh on it because we probably would have won a Super Bowl with him doing that. And
what about Lamar Jackson for you guys?
I thought about that too, but Lamar's game hasn't even really been.
Yeah.
And
whatever happened to Jameis Winston? Like, I thought he was coming back this season. He never came back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. So my Seahawks, I don't know. I'm fine with Geno staying. I would love to get obviously a high pick draft pick, but we've got a lot of other issues, including our defense and our offensive line that always continues to have some struggles. But yeah, we have done better than was expected this year. So I'm happy with that. But I got used to winning and now I want to make it into the playoffs. So that's all I want. A late Christmas gift. That's it.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it because the Raiders.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
NBA. Listen, when I was waiting for you guys last night, I caught the end of the Bulls game.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls versus the Bucks. Chicago was down 15 points in the fourth quarter. DeMar DeRozan had 42 points. Giannis had 45. But they went to overtime and won in overtime over the Bucks. It was just such a great game. Like, it was that last 10 minutes of regulation and then overtime was it was dope. It was really dope. So shout out to my Bulls. A lot of people are having major career moves. Zion had 43 last night after dropping 14 in the fourth versus the Wolves. Luka, hello.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Luka Doncic had a game too, and now this is when we get into the MVP conversation of who's gonna.
First of all, he's
who's
the
in the first
first
round.
NBA player, so that's out of everybody,
right?
Who's put up 60 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists in a game.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying
Something that Jordan's never
MVP.
do, Kobe's never done,
Yeah.
LeBron's never done, Kareem, all the players that people want to put in the top and the GOAT, Luka has done.
Well, they're still GOATs. Let's not
of course. Yeah, I know.
Status.
I'm not saying
there,
that they're not GOATs,
but he has done something that nothing has ever done, which is amazing. And so that's what I say. Are we getting into the conversation now with MVPs of Joker, Luka, and who else?
I mean, it's never too early to have the conversation.
No. But we're getting
and
into
I think the way that
so.
Luka's been playing is just
it's stellar. I mean, it's whoever's got him on the basketball fantasy league. I tried to get
him. Listen, I was gonna ask you if you had him.
No,
like, how did
my only big is freaking on two of them. My only big because the number one draft pick for fantasy is Joker. Can't get Joker. You got to go with your next big. I think the one that I ended up getting was I gotta look. I can't even remember because I haven't been focusing on basketball. But I think my big is Carl Anthony. I think Carl Anthony Towns, who's on injury for 4-6 weeks, which sucks. And then my other big was
and now Devin Booker's out for a month. Like it's just like
it wasn't Giannis, I think. But yeah, the
I wanted to show a couple of these things. I didn't catch this, but Bobo had an amazing dunk apparently last night, or maybe it was the night before. But of course, Bobo's extremely tall, has arms the length of a whole room. This guy went up for a dunk and you couldn't even see the backboard. He was so high with it.
Is it a poster dunk?
I mean, it looks like it. But speaking of poster dunks, I had to show the video for this one because I also caught this one on Christmas. Listen, in the video, Aaron Gordon's dunk is incredible.
Aaron Gordon was ridiculous. And that went once but twice.
Right. He first got called as a charge, but they ended up reversing it.
Yeah.
It was a foul. But check this out.
Gordon! Oh my goodness! Oh! And are they calling that an offensive foul?
Offensive foul. There's no challenge left.
A charge on Gordon, and it's Phoenix basketball with 24 seconds to go.
Oh, wow. Please. Drink this in with your eyes, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, I watched that game, and that was not a...
When did Aaron Gordon just become this magnificent?
He's been this whole season. Aaron Gordon's been balling. I had Aaron Gordon last season on my fantasy.
But like, there's been a few seasons where I didn't even... I mean, he wasn't worth the mention.
I don't know about that because I've had him previously on my fantasy leagues, and he was up and coming. And he put points on me. So Aaron Gordon's always been watched. It didn't have anything to do with the movie he was in with Lil Rel. He has been just culminating his career into being this guy. And not for nothing, I watched that game in real time.
Me too.
That was a movie screen. I saw him step in front of him to block that dunk. It was not an offensive foul.
And they overturned it, which was very well.
It got reversed.
Yes.
And they needed to because that was quite the game. And that was not his only dunk in that game. He dunked twice.
But that one was the dunk. That one was
the other ones are always beast. And he's been dunking lately. So if you're going to watch these games with the Denver Nuggets, you need to watch Aaron Gordon do this work because he has been
ridiculous
dunking the last few games.
Hola, Jorge.
Hola, Jorge. So that was amazing. Yeah. But Aaron Gordon's been the stud ever since the beginning of the season and coming into last season.
He's on my radar now. He's on my radar. No,
God, it took a dunk for you to have this man on your radar. That's why I feel like everybody needs to play these fantasy basketball leagues.
Well, it's not only that, but I've also been stuck in NFL mode. So even when the season's over watching NBA, are you just stuck in Bulls mode? No. Because I usually get all the Bulls games because I don't have an NBA package. So I just catch what I can.
Yeah, but he's been studying it out.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
And know that Denver is number 1 on the West right now. So I wonder how that's
for good meaning.
Yeah.
Well,
they also got Joker too. But...
I had to give a shout out to Futch, our friends over at Off the Strip podcast that we haven't heard from them in a while. But Futch is in Denver, of course, and him and his girlfriend are always at the Denver Bronco games. And I keep saying, why don't you go to a game for your teams that are winning? Go to a Nuggets game. Stop with the Broncos because it's not going anywhere. But those Nuggets games, send me a picture from those games. Those are, man, I would love to have a
Oh, he didn't
great
send any? I
basketball
thought
team.
you were setting me up like
No, because he
did.
wasn't going. Because he's going to Broncos games instead.
Well, Bronco tickets are probably cheaper than Denver Nuggets. I'm telling you, they're number one right now. So the Denver Bronco tickets are probably cheaper than the Nuggets
I mean, they're probably
games.
on Groupon for that matter. Shoot.
But I mean, the Nuggets games are probably pricey now.
Oh yeah,
I
guess.
And if you're going to follow Joker, I'm sure those tickets are ridiculous right now.
Right. There was almost another massive rumble in Detroit.
Oh man, I saw this. And this is with the Bucks, right?
This was with the Pistons and the Magic yesterday.
Oh, Magic, yeah.
So apparently Killian Hayes punches Mo Wagner in the back of a head. Wagner pushes Hayes into the
with
bench.
doing that all the time.
When
are they gonna punch him?
They just let out they've officially suspended, I think, 11 players from the fight. But here's just a little picture of the fight.
And Orlando with a turnover. Oh, Mo Wagner pushes Killian Hayes into the crowd. And now a melee right at the Pistons bench. They got to be careful.
But you hear the PA announcer, nobody moved.
Because you don't want no malice. You don't want another malice. But the thing of it is Killian Hayes is notorious for doing this. And when is somebody, and shout out to the announcer that was saying, when is somebody going to give Killian Hayes a 2-piece? Because he deserves it. I feel like if he gets a 2-piece, he ain't going to be doing the shenanigans that he does. And he is notorious for doing shady, underhanded kind of things to players. Now, mind you, back in the day, it got to that with Boston. Larry Bird was notorious for beating up the guy.
But that's also when it was more a physical game where there wasn't all these, rules and fouls involved. The guy was bouncing the ball, and you're going to elbow him in the back of the shoulder and push him into his team stand? Like, come on. Are you kidding me right now? The NBA has now suspended 11 players that were involved in the altercation.
Well, I know Killian got multi-game
for sure. So and like 11 suspensions will result in over $500,000 in forfeited salaries. Hayes will lose the most at $121,000.
He needs to lose the most. He started it.
Yeah.
And he's notorious for doing this. He has a pattern of doing this kind of stuff. His behavior is
unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought it was the Bucks one, so I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah?
I was like, yeah, the Bucks had a little trippy situation to go down. But yeah.
Okay.
It's getting to be that time.
Girl power segment. We've got Katie Ledecky. Katie Ledecky becomes the first female swimmer to win 2 AP Female Athlete of the Year awards.
Yes.
That just came out. Congratulations to her. She definitely deserves it. And history in the making. That's girl power right there. Also, I know this is an older video. You had sent it to me. I did some research on it. It was back in like October, but I hadn't heard of her before. So we need to get to know her name. Dominique Malanga, 16 years old, 6'6". She's out of France. She helped the French FIBA UA16 women's team win their European challenge this last summer. And she had like 19 points average. Here's a picture of this, or here's a video of this young lady, Duncan. My thing is, are there a lot of European players that come to the WNBA, or do they usually stick out in the European leagues? Because European leagues are paying more. We don't see a whole lot of, I think we've seen a couple players that have come in overseas into the WNBA draft, but I'm curious to know, like.
Sounds like you answered your own question with that.
I know, I guess so.
And I got to say, not for nothing, this brawl against the Magic and Detroit Pistons pales in comparison to the Waffle House brawl. I still have
Oh my gosh, that was
UFC fights of all fights. And shout out to Jabel Hill, because on Twitter she did post a bracket of all the chain restaurants, and everybody could fill out their bracket of who could get who. So you've got Waffle House versus the Popeye or McDonald's workers, and then you've got Popeyes versus another. And all these restaurants do brawl. Like, I've seen videos of them brawling, but the Waffle House takes the cake.
The entire staff was in it.
Yeah, I don't know if it takes the cake, but it is one for the books. I've seen worse. but the Waffle House one is right
But
now.
usually
on
the
that
other ones
calendar.
involve patrons. This was only this. There was no patrons involved in this one. It was literally just the staff of Waffle House.
No, I've seen the McDonald's one. I've seen the drive-through one. See, no, if you don't have TikTok, you're not seeing the rest of these other ones. And there's some that I could properly rank. But Waffle House, is definitely one that's trending. But I've seen the drive-through antics of one where people are coming through windows. Like I've seen some good brawls from.
I guess for me, it's because in those some of the other videos you see, it's like a couple people or like a customer and an employee. This was like 10 people that work at Waffle House going at it against each other. It was like the WWE brawls. It was.
I mean,
like,
it was 5 workers against 10 staff of patrons that were complaining about something, and then chairs were thrown. So you're seeing patrons throwing chairs.
Oh, because I didn't see the
Okay.
Oh,
no. This was a whole brawl against workers and patrons.
Wow.
And that's what the brawls usually are. So yeah, it's in my top brawl category. Yeah, definitely. But you had a whole group of ladies, and one of them grabbed a chair and threw that chair, and people had to literally leave the restaurant and watch from the window. No one called the police. Like, I don't understand. They just let that rock, huh?
I mean, or maybe the police took their time. I mean, it's Waffle House. They probably know what's happening down in there, but I don't know.
Arizona got Waffle House. I doubt it does that. I don't know. I wanted to go, but I couldn't get it.
Some sneaker drops. There's not a lot that happens towards the end of the month. But there's some heat that we'll bring out for the first week next week as to what's coming up. But these, of course, will be dropping tomorrow. They're Jordan 2s, Chicago OGs. Shout out to our boy BS. I know BS really wants these suckers bad, but the Air Jordan 2s will be out tomorrow. We've got the Jordan any retros 1 lows. These are the Tatums. These will be out on the 1st. You've also got Jordan's Luka. The black and red is the top left, and then there's the black green glow on the bottom. These will be out on the 3rd of January. And then for all of our dunk people, you've got the Nike Dunk Lows, the copper swoosh. I like the colorways on this one. These will be out January 4th.
Can I just say John Morant has now signed a Nike contract and has a Nike sneaker. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is a piss poor sneaker. And Nike needs to go back to the drawing board because it's a mixture of the Kyrie and whatever little fly knit they try to put in front for.
I saw his logo and people were saying it was like Kobe's, but different.
Well, this one that they put out looks like the Kyrie's. And I don't know if you want to call them Jackeries. I don't know if you want to call them Kyrie Johns. I don't know.
The Mervings.
But somebody needs to go back to the drawing board because you clearly are now replicating other players' shoes. And because Kyrie is probably distanced himself from Nike, you're going to take that design and use that for John Morant's. Shameful.
Hey, shout out to Andre Wade for becoming a subscriber to our YouTube channel. Why it took him just this long to do so.
Did he just
I just got the notification. So.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was always a viewer, but I'm glad he's
suspicious.
Thank you, Andre Wade. Also
Thank you,
for
Andre.
being my model with the fashion show. If you guys,
that was dope.
I really, you came clutch for me a couple months back when they said they wanted to use me to highlight me. I love it. So I appreciate you being that model and that video.
And if you guys need last minute New Year's Eve clothing, make sure to hit Mo.
Absolutely. I will be there Friday, and that is it. So that is your time.
Okay. Let's get into some pick'em. So Mo, you won last week 4-2. You currently are winning, and there won't be much. I mean, I could maybe tie it, but it's 4-6-2. I got 4, you got 6, and then we got 2 ties. So we're heading into week 17. It's only 2 weeks left in this season.
Right.
It's a sad, sad story. You know, this is my favorite time of the year, so this will be almost tragic. But we couldn't bet on tonight. I don't know. I know it was close and it wasn't close.
No, it's 27-13. I'm watching this game on my iPad. Cowboys are up 27-13. Dak did throw an interception and it gave life to the Titans, but they can't convert, so sometimes it didn't hit a field goal. So.
Leave it to Dak. Now there's a quarterback that I'm not still sold on. Anyway, so first game's off on Sunday. So we're back to all Sunday games, it looks like. No more Saturday games. We've got the Cardinals at Atlanta. Cardinals are favored by 3. The Cardinals are really, really injured. Really, 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 really injured. They also mentioned that Budda Baker had broke or sprained his shoulder during the game this last weekend and played through it the rest of the game. Intense.
Both a mess of a team. Both of them are just a kind of.
Do they
I wouldn't
win
even
for
put this on-
JJ? I don't know.
I
Like,
wouldn't even put them on my 5-teamer, y'all. That don't even put them on any kind of parlays you want to do, because this is two teams that are.
I would bet
just
the
kind of
under.
for people.
I don't know what the under is, but I think the under could look good, especially if you could bump it up a couple points. I feel like the under could get some action.
I wouldn't even touch that game with a 10-foot pole. I mean, the under is, to your point, a better thing of the under points. You just don't know what the under will be. You don't know if they're going to score at least a field goal. Like, this is going to be one of those boring games that are going to drag, and none of them's going to convert. So I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna roll with Arizona. I
don't know that for my drink.
I got James Conner still in one of my leagues. I'm in the semi or the third place game for. So at least if I can get James Conner to get some action in there, I'll be happy with that. Who you got?
I said Atlanta.
Oh, okay. All right. We got the Bears at Detroit. You know, I do love the Detroit, but I need them to lose, because them losing.
They're not losing this game. They're not losing this game. We're going with Detroit Lions. They're not losing this game.
Oh, I know. I will. I know.
They're not losing this game.
I know they're not. I'm going with the Lions. I mean, it's just, but still.
They're not losing.
Okay.
I'm not even going to be delusional about it.
All right, we got the Jackson Jaguars at Houston Texans. Another game that I wouldn't bet on. Although Trevor Lawrence, I do have him on fantasy. It's going to be him or Tom Brady. I got to make the pick. And against the Texans, that seems like a win-win.
I told you the Jaguars were on fire right now. I told you about this man, Trevor Lawrence. I told you about this arm this man has, and how he is probably not going to be with Jacksonville much longer, that his value will increase where somebody will take him. And I'm going with the Jags all day.
Same. All right, we got Denver at Kansas City. I don't even think it needs to be mentioned who we're going to go for on this one. So
yeah, I got Mahomes. I need him to ball out, and I need Denver's defense that's third in the league to not kind of diminish my chances here.
All right, we got Miami, the Tua-less Miami at New England. You kind of have to go with New England here at this point.
Yeah, you do. I agree.
We got the Colts at the Giants. I really want the Giants to lose, but I do not trust Matt Ryan or the Colts to do anything right. But I'm going to roll with them just because I need them to lose. I'm going to roll with the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the Colts too on that, honestly. Mm-hmm. Why not?
All right. You got your Saints at Philly. Saints beat the Cleveland Browns last week, and even though we didn't think so.
Jalen's still down?
I do not know that. I think
Jalen's still out.
Interesting. I'm not sure. I haven't saw any. I think we won't know more until probably Friday or Saturday. I'm
going to go with the Saints, just because we know that the playoff contention is already going. I know they're battling for a home field, but Philly took a dump last week, just so y'all know. So
but I thought that they played the Cowboys, and I mean
that was a bad dump. I'm sorry. You're not supposed to beat the Cowboys. You're supposed to beat the Cowboys. I'm
going to go with Philly. I'm taking Philly to get this one.
It's the only time I pick my Who Jets.
All right. We got the Carolina Panthers at Tampa Bay. Tampa's still trying to hold on to their number one spot, because the NFC South is all trash, and they're all about 7-8, 6-9. So they all have a chance of making it, which is ridiculous. I'm just gonna go with him because I also need Tom to have a good game.
You going with the Bucks then?
I'm going with the Bucks.
Oh yeah, same.
Okay. Cleveland at Washington. Commanders, of course, took on putting in Wentz and leaving Heineke out, and the Heineke's been the person that's been winning for them the last 3-4 weeks. I got to roll with the Browns here because they beat the Saints they lost the Saints, but I need that Washington to lose. Washington and the Giants both have to lose for me. I need extra space in here.
I'm going to roll with Washington. I never do that, but I'm going to see what happens. Just out of curiosity. My gut says Browns, because since Deshaun Watson's been back, he hasn't had the best performance, but they've been winning some games. But I think Washington's hungry. So I'm going to go with them.
Andre had said he couldn't find the new account. There's only been one Girl Chat account, but that's fine. It's on YouTube. He found it.
I don't even know what he's talking about right now.
JC says, what hurts or sucks more, your team making the playoffs and losing, or not making the playoffs? Not making the playoffs for me, because I know we're going to lose, but I want my team to
Not
make the
making the
playoffs.
playoffs at all does hurt.
Yeah.
Especially for a Raider fan, because that's just the highlight of where we want to be every season.
Mm-hmm.
And because we had it and we were so close last season and did it. Yeah, that hurts.
That's probably a question for Cowboys fans, because I think they're pretty versed on that.
Yeah, because they really are, because it's getting to the playoffs. See, we celebrate even us making it to the playoffs, and if we losing around, we'll be a little upset, but we don't carry.
But that's their life story.
The Cowboys, they get that far and they just ready to punch their.
Their championships are still on VHS, so we can't even talk about that. All right, so we got the Battle of the Bay. I mean, I gotta go.
It is Battle of the Bay. I mean, you're not lying.
I don't even want to go with the Niners, but it's pretty much like obvious at this point.
I mean, the thing of it is, even if we had Carr, it's still obvious that the Niners are going to win. If this is the last season or the last game where you're going to have all the studs play,
right,
McCaffrey and all of them, then it was going to be a no-brainer anyway. And sadly, I know my Raiders aren't going to win this game, but I would like to put them in the win column, so I'm going to pick them anyway, just for hope of seeing Jarrett Stidham maybe surprises us and balls out.
Maybe there's some new plays that are made
for
him, and
I'm going to tell you something. They play up to the audience, and if enough of Raider Nation is in the building, that gets them going. It's
listen, to know how many Patriots fans were in there, I don't even want to know how many 49er fans are going to be in there.
Well, the thing of it is there were quite a few Patriots fans, but because we wear black, all opposed.
But they were loud. Like you could hear them on the TV.
They weren't that loud.
It was loud. It was loud.
Well, first of all, we've got Raider fans that don't know to be quiet on offense and loud on defense. So you had Raider fans actually getting loud during offensive plays. So that was a combination of the two. So I'm not going to give that all to the Pats fans, because where I was sitting, they literally were kind of not chirping.
Okay. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I'm not giving them Pats that too.
JC, yes. Brock Purdy for the Niners is good.
He is.
And for a third string. Listen, I wouldn't mind taking him on. Like he's basically showing off right now for other people out there to become a new potential.
Honestly, I feel like if he's going to be in our Allegiant Stadium in the Owl, the Raiders need to look at him too. I mean, I wouldn't
definitely. He's a great option. Although let's be realistic in that he also has like an entirely full, like his squad is ridiculous. Like you don't have to work that hard as a quarterback when you've got Kittle and McCaffrey, and Debo just got back into practicing this week. I mean, you've got these weapons,
and we don't.
Just not like that.
Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and Devontae.
You gonna put Hunter Renfrow for Darren Waller is not Darren Waller this season is definitely not no Kittles.
Well, I mean, he's definitely
even beyond the injury, he is not a Kittle.
Yeah.
And Josh Jacobs
last season he was.
But McCaffrey is like the
Josh Jacobs is good.
He's good.
Josh Jacobs is a stud. What do you mean, just good? The man has broke all these records. He's one of the top running backs in the league. And then we got one of the best wide receivers in the league. Not to mention you got Zaire White,
who's not getting throws. I mean, you can't be one
does
of the
that
best.
take away from who he is?
No. Okay, but it takes away from the stats and them winning and being able to play. I mean,
what are we talking about right now?
We're talking about the Jets. We're talking about the Jets playing Seattle this weekend in Seattle.
And I'm picking the Jets now, damn it. I want to talk mess about my team.
How I know that?
I'm picking the Jets. Go ahead and put me down for that. Hope they beat the brakes off of y'all.
All right, we got the Vikings at the Packers. Listen, they said that the Vikings have not won a game with more than one scoring possession in it. So
they're in Lambeau?
Yes.
Oh shoot! This is a whole different Aaron Rodgers. See, this
and you know, Packers need to still make the playoffs. They have a chance as well to make the playoffs.
I'm still gonna roll with the Vikings. I like Green Bay and all of that good stuff, but I'm still gonna roll with the Vikings because I've seen miracles with Justin Jefferson out there, and it's just some things that are anomalies. Cold weather is not a factor for them. They just end up flipping the games. I don't know. I just want to.
I'm gonna go with Packers. I just feel like Aaron. He's starting to warm up a little late in the season. You know,
Yeah, he
that's what
is.
happened with the Packers.
He's turning second half Aaron Rodgers.
We got the Rams at the Chargers. Again, I don't know if there's much to argue here. I feel like it's a Chargers game. They made the playoffs. The Rams are clearly not in the playoffs. I don't think the Rams even care about the season at this point. Like, except for their win over Denver last week, which I think was just was just such a fluke. I don't know. But hey, are you taking the Rams or Chargers?
I hate the Chargers.
I know.
So, but I'm gonna take them because it's just realistic.
Yeah. We got Pittsburgh at the Ravens for Sunday Night Football. This game it got flexed last week for Sunday Night Football. I don't know. These Ravens, boy. I guess I'll go with the Ravens.
I'm going with the Steelers. This is just ridiculous. The Ravens have not been doing what they've been supposed to do, and they're just a car wreck, honestly. And I don't know what's happened to Lamar Jackson. It's very auspicious that he's a one-trick pony, and everybody has actually seen the transparency of that. So
sorry.
No, let's get out of here so you can watch the rest of your bowl game.
Yes. And then we got Buffalo at the Bengals. Whoo, this is going to be a good game in Cincinnati.
I'm going with Burrows. He's got his whole O-line. He's still got Mixon and Jamar Chase over there active. Yeah.
Where are they fighting for position in the AFC? Who's number one?
Kansas City, isn't it?
Or no, Buffalo's Kansas City's in the
NFL. No, Buffalo.
Oh.
But Kansas City's in the AFC.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see. Because I don't know. Let's look at it and see.
Like, I want to know how hard they're playing this game. You know, like, are they really fighting?
So, in the conference right now, the Bills are at the number 1 position, then followed by Kansas City, and Bengals are number 3. So you got the number 3 against the number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've seen this play out before with Buffalo, where they get to a culmination of great play, and then there's a huge upset. So I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. I just want to see the value of Joe Burrow.
And I think Buffalo has
and they only have 1 win above.
They clinched their division already too. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals too.
And Bengals not for nothing have clinched playoff berth, of course, already. So
yeah,
but I'm gonna roll with the Bengals. Yeah, and they're only 1 game a loss behind. It's this 12-3 team against an 11-4 team. I mean, this is what I want to see. That's going to be a good game. This is what
makes it happen.
Yeah.
All right, week 17, you guys. It is officially going to be 2023 when we see you next time. We'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you for altering your schedule with us to have a Thursday show. We appreciate you. Wish you all the best. And we'll see you next year.
Yes, we will see you next year.
That always makes me laugh when people still say it. Anyway, all right, y'all. Have a good one. Be safe. Stay off the strip. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Jeez.